Welcome to New Wave Teaching Lessons. If you're new here, don't forget to click subscribe. We upload videos every single week. In this series, we'll talk about Algebra 1, specifically Semester 1. Let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is New Wave Teaching. This is our 4th episode in the Algebra 1 series. If you have not already subscribed, please make sure you do so you never miss a video. If you have not watched any of the other previous videos, I will go ahead and link them above. While we're talking about links, we have a free downloadable worksheet for you guys for this video and all our other videos. You can go ahead and find that in the description bar below. It is completely free and it has U-tries, it has these questions in the videos, and it even has an answer sheet. So if you're ready to go, let's get started. Okay, so the toolbox today, of course, has some vocabulary. You guys know how I like my vocabulary. A lot of things are going to pop up in this particular section that are similar because we're going to need to continuously see them in order to do the math. So like terms is one of them. Terms that have the same variable and power. Distributive property, multiplying a number to a group of numbers. Inverse operations, operations that undo each other. So for instance, if I had addition, the opposite or inverse of addition is subtraction. On the flip side, if I gave you subtraction first, the inverse or opposite would be addition. So these go back and forth. Same thing goes with division. The inverse of division is multiplication. And multiplication, the inverse of that is division. So they both go back and forth. Again, these will pop up constantly throughout the first couple sections because they're so important. They're the building blocks to learning how to solve any equation. So let's move on to the first question. Our goal today is to logically explain how I solved an equation using math operations. So the last video we talked about how to solve an equation and explain it in general. Today we're going to go a little more specific, so with math operations. So let's look at this basic example. I have negative 2x minus 6 equals 26. I'm going to go ahead and add 6 to both sides, so I'm going to leave my variable to the last step. I'm going to end up getting negative 2x equals 32. I need to get rid of that negative 2x by dividing negative 2 to both sides. Those are going to cancel out, and I'm going to be left with x equals negative 16. So this is a basic two-step equation. So if I'm being asked to explain my steps using math operations, I'm going to be specific. So going into that, I added 6 to both sides, and I divided negative 2 to both sides. So those are my two steps. And one thing I wanted to point out, as you guys can see, we divide by negative 2 because the x needs to be alone, and that includes getting rid of the negatives. So if I were to have divided by a positive 2, which I see so many students do by accident, and I end up not getting rid of the negative will stay with the x. And what we've learned about in our previous videos is that the x has to be alone. If there's a negative in front of the x, it is not alone. So you would then have to do an additional step. So if you just divide by the negative number to begin with, if it's there, it'll save you some time. Let's look at another example. Now I have positive 3, parentheses 2x minus 4 equals 18. So now I have some distributive property going on. So going back to those last videos, if you haven't watched them, make sure you do. So we're going to go ahead and distribute that 3 to both the 2x and the negative 4. Please do not forget to do it to both. That is also a common problem that we see, that students forget to go 3 times negative 4 as well as 3 times 2x. So doing that, I would get 6x minus 12 equals 18. I'm going to add 12 to both sides, and I'll be left with 6x equals 30. I'm going to divide each side by 6, and x equals 5. As a reminder, guys, in this particular video, it does go pretty quickly because we've gone over the basics in the last couple of videos. If at any time you need to pause the video, please do so that you can copy this onto your worksheet that you just downloaded. So the next part is the steps, and we're going to use specific math operations for these steps as it pertains to this particular question. So multiply 3 to 2x and -4. So we talked about that, so I wanted to make sure we got that in there. The next one, add 12 to both sides. And the last one, divide 6 to both sides. And you can say, this also might look a little different, the steps. You can also say add 12 to both sides of the equation, divide 6 to both sides of the equation, divide 6 to 6 and 30. So there's going to be a lot of different ways you can say the same thing. So this is not the end all be all of how your steps might look. This is just an example. Okay, guys, so our next question is -2x plus 4x minus 6 equals 28. So this looks a little different. There's no parentheses. We cannot add the 6 first. We have to identify before anything if there's anything that we can combine. And going back to our toolbox and our vocab, I see some like terms here. I have a 4x and a -2x. They both have an x that are to the same power of 1, so we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and combine those to get 2x, and then everything else will drop. I'm going to add 6 to both sides because now I can go ahead and solve my regular two-step equation. And going from there, I'm going to have 2x equals 34. And I'm going to divide both sides by 2 to isolate the x because those 2's will end up canceling out. And then we have x equals 34 divided by 2, which will end up being 17. So looking at my steps, the first thing I did was combine -2x and 4x. I added them together. Remember when you're doing negatives and positives, remember those rules, and I'll do a different video up above. So add 6 to both sides of the equation, and then divide by +2 to both sides of the equation to get your final answer. Okay, guys, I hope I was able to answer some questions for you today. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to comment below, in addition to anything that you might want to see in our future videos. Going from here, please click subscribe, like, and the notification bell. We do post videos each week, and stay tuned for the next video. Have a great one. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like our channel. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit the notification bell to never miss a video. Have a good one.